Alright, this is my take. If you got your own thoughts, I'd actually love to hear them in the comments. Whenever you're new to Destiny 2 or you just never really gotten into the whole build crafting rabbit hole, this video is for you. I'm not diving into spreadsheets or frame by frame analysis. This is more of a soft, grounded guide for players who want to understand what makes a build actually good and how to start building one for themselves. Let's start simple. Not every strong build is meta. A good build doesn't vanish just post artifact resets. A good build is something that sticks with you across seasons, contents, and changes. So here's what we're going to cover. What makes a build good, like actually good? How to build one for yourself, what to prioritize when you're getting started, and some of the best tools to use that honestly changed everything for me. Let's break it down. What makes a build actually good? People love saying this build slaps or this build got me through a GM, but that doesn't always mean it's truly good. So let's talk about what I personally look for when I say, yeah, this is the real build, not just a one-trick meta cop. For starters, it works across multiple activities without falling apart. Solo dungeons, master lost sectors, GMs, seasonal activities, weekly rotators, you name it. I'm not talking about something that melts bosses but can't handle trash mobs, or something with great survivability but zero damage output. A good build holds its own, everywhere, and it doesn't constantly need patchwork fixes. If I take it into a legend lost sector and I don't feel like I'm missing anything, that's a good sign. It doesn't just survive, it's comfortable to play. Comfort is underrated. If your survivability comes at the cost of fun, like being stuck behind barricades waiting for cooldown, it's probably not a build you'll want to come back to. A good build gives you room to move, dodge, heal, reposition, and adapt without thinking too hard about it. If you always need to wait for your cooldown, you'll get to the empty witness room with a post-it saying, "Call me when you got your cooldown sorted out, I was getting bored." It brings balance. Boss damage, add clear, and safety. Some builds go all in one damage. Others just spam invisibility and call it a day. But when a build handles all three, that's when I keep it. You need to clear waves of enemies quickly, delete mages, and still have the tools to keep yourself alive when things go sideways. If I can rest someone in a GM while enemies spam at me, clear the room, and still have grenade energy left, that's a good build. It has real ability uptime and it flows. Here's where a lot of initial builds actually fall apart. They don't flow. You use one grenade, then wait 20 seconds doing nothing. You pop a melee once every other room. Good builds have ability loops. You throw a grenade, which triggers a fragment, which refunds your class ability, which gives you your melee, and the whole engine just starts running. Super generation matters more than people think. If your build never gets your super in a GM, which I know is impossible, but just to underline it, that's a red flag. You don't want to rally on well or bubble, but having your super when you need it is part of what makes a build dependable. Your super is a very strong asset, don't be scared to use it. With a good build, you will get it back fast. It doesn't rely on seasonal mods or temporary synergies. This one's tricky because every season brings new toys. But I always ask myself, if this artifact went away tomorrow, would this build still work? If the answer is no, it's not bad, but it might not be a long-term build. Good builds work across seasons. You might lose a few percent here and there, but the core loop still stands. It adapts with minimal changes. Some builds crumble when you swap one weapon. Others can change all weapons and still feel just as good. If I'm going into a GM and all I need to do is change one resistance mod and maybe a champion weapon, that's a good build. And lastly, it actually fits you. This is probably the most important thing which I feel gets forgotten quite a bit. There are builds I see online that are S tier, but they just don't click with me. I don't like the playstyle, it doesn't flow, it feels like I'm forcing it. But a real build, one you save, one you go back to, one you can name off the top of your head, like, yeah, that's my dungeon loadout. That's what a good build really is. It's not about raw power, it's about consistency, synergy, viability, and whatever you want to keep using it. If it stays saved up across patches, nerfs, and seasons, then congratulations, you've got something actually worth keeping. Now, how to build one even if you're new. So let's say you're not copying someone else's build. You actually want to build something that works for you. where do you start? For the very first thing, which I think is very important, stop trying to understand everything all at once. Destiny 2 is overwhelming. Between exotics, mods, stats, subclasses, fragments, and weapon synergies, it's a lot. The best thing you can do, don't treat it like a big tangled mess. Break it apart. Go piece by piece. Here's how I do it. Start with an exotic, usually and mostly armor. Something I just got, something I like, or something I haven't used in a while. I take a look at what it actually does, and this is key. Not just what people say about it. I read the perk, see how it activates, and what abilities it interacts with. That's the real foundation. Next, I pick a subclass to go with it. If the exotic only works on one subclass, cool, that decision's made. But if it's flexible, I pick something I wanted to revisit or experiment with. Maybe I haven't used Strand in a while. Maybe I avoid survivability. It's either about synergy or just a subclass I'm excited to build around. Then I go into the subclass abilities. Grenade, melee, and class ability. I equip those I think might be best for the build. You won't be able to test the uptime yet, but once all fragments are equipped, it's about testing and changing things up. Don't be afraid to change your first picks. Then I'll go to the aspects. I just equip one at a time. I don't throw them both on right away because I want to feel what each one brings on its own. It's all about understanding how each part interacts with your build. After getting a feel for aspect 1, I equip aspect 2 and again run something simple to feel the changes. That step-by-step process helps you avoid the trap of everything's strong but I don't know why. And then for another important part of the subclass, the fragments. And again, it's one at a time. I score through all the fragments first just to get a sense of what sounds interesting or useful. Then I pick one and run it. It's not about running a full strike, even a few quick fights to feel the synergy is enough. Then I equip a second. You repeat that process until all your fragment slots are filled. And by then, you've already built a natural understanding on how your subclass is functioning. If at any point I think, this other fragment might fit better, I swap and test it again. Building a good setup takes testing. Yes, it might sound like a lot of back and forth, but personally, I love the process. I actually get an energy boost from it. It's the moment when all the pieces come together and you think, yep, this build's got something special. So don't be afraid to test. I know it's a little bit of a time investment, but it's really worth it once you've got your own build set up. Only after all that, I go into armor mods. At this point, I already know how my subclass flows, what my abilities are doing, and what stat priorities matter. So when I go into armor mods, I can be precise. Start with the helmet, equip a mod you think is useful and test it. If it doesn't feel impactful, replace it and keep going. Don't just equip what sounds good, understand what it's doing. And if you don't understand what the mod or fragment is really doing, I will get to this in a bit, but check Destiny Data Compendium, like seriously. It breaks down exact percentages, not vague in-game text like grants a moderate amount of energy. That clarity will help you truly understand how each piece contributes. Last thing I do, weapons. Yeah, weapons are important, but they're the last step for me. Because while weapons can elevate the build, they're also the easiest thing to swap. Exotic armors, ability loops, mod synergy, that's what gives a build its identity. The weapons just sharpen it. So if you want to build something that works and lasts, this is how I recommend doing it. Not by copying everything at once, but by testing piece by piece. And building a loadout that feels like it was made for you because it was. Tools that make your life 100 times easier. You do not have to build everything from scratch. There are a few amazing tools I wish I had known about earlier. For starters, I mentioned before, Destiny Data Compendium. Hands down the best resource if you want to understand what your perks, mods, fragments, and exotic effects actually do. Way more detailed than the moderate energy return text in-game. DIM, Destiny Item Manager. This is essential. It lets you manage your inventory, pull stuff from your vault on the fly, even during an activity, and you can also save loadouts and apply them instantly if your in-game loadout inventory is full. There is also a mobile app version if you are on console, light.gg. Search a weapon and see all possible rolls sorted by popularity. In addition, it shows you if you have a decent perk combo on your already acquired weapons. Destiny 2 Armor Picker. This is what makes your life so much easier when you need to find the perfect armor. If you want to hit stat targets like 100 resilience plus 100 discipline, this site is amazing. Pick your exotic, your subclass, and the stats you want. It tells you exactly which armor piece to equip and what mods you need. Even better, you can copy the loadout straight into Dim with one click. I had no clue any of these existed when I was a new like, and honestly, they make the entire build process way easier and more fun to experiment with. If you're even a little curious about making your own builds, just explore these tools. You'll learn way more than you think just by using them. Another content creator I watched once said, a good build isn't just for the season. It's the one you come back to season after season. And that stuck with me. I'm not saying meta builds aren't fun. They're meta for a reason. But there's something really satisfying about building something that fits you. A loadout that feels right, that stays fun even after the patch notes hit. So I hope this video gave you a little inspiration. And if you got your own take on what makes a build good, drop it in the comments. I'd love to see how you approach it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever your time zone is, and I hope I'll catch you next time.